Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? We'll just give everybody a minute to pop on. And hello, Tammy. It is a beautiful day in Calgary. Hello, Lori. Did you guys give us a price yet for for wet crop, Lori? Hello, Doris. The crop? It is. It's not as hot as I expected it to be. We actually went to Boness Park yesterday to the splash park, and it was really nice. Hello, Ellie. The it took me a minute to figure out what you were saying. Lori, we're gonna just figure out all the details and get that posted. No worries. I know that autocorrect, you never know, hey? But today, yeah, it's been warm, but not too bad. We've kind of make sure that we have our fans all set and um, all strategically positioned, and our windows covered if the sun's coming in. So just so it doesn't get too hot in the evening. But I think Calgary doesn't get too many days, hot days for summer. So we try to enjoy them as much as possible without overheating. This is the little card we're going to make today. It's super cute. They're on a little party bus, and this set is really cute. So this is the first time that I have made a slider card, and it was not hard. I was kind of putting it off because I thought, oh, it's probably like a lot of like figuring out, measuring, and it really was not hard. So I'm going to show you guys how to put it together, and then it can be used lots of different ways. This set is cute. It's the little agenda bus. So you've got all these little characters, and then you've got two different size buses. And I think using this with a lot of different different sets, you can make a lot of different scenes. You can cut these little guys out. So the little guys, you can stamp them, and then the dies, which cut out the bus, cut out the little stop sign or bus sign. Let's see here. And these guys I think would be really cute, like if you had some of the larger sentiments. Lots of companies have those large die cut sentiments, and you're tucking them in to the letters, kind of like Lawn Fawn does with the Tiny Friends stamps. I think those would be really cute. I gotta find all my little guys here. I have a couple colored up. So these are a couple more of them. The llama, he looks very cute. And then I put these guys into this little bus. So this bus faces this way, and then the bigger bus faces the other way. But I think your little guys can face, this guy's turned around, which probably isn't, from a safety point, it might be a little iffy, but I think we're good for these guys. But they're really cute. I think anybody would love this card. So we are going to color that guy up, or a couple guys, and decide who we want in our bus. I grabbed some birthday messages. I think, again, with this, like, you could have this on school scrapbook pages. You can have it on a card and have like way to go. Or with the party bus, we're doing a happy birthday, but I've just added a happy birthday sentiment. Hello, Debbie. So lots of different, Simple Stories Let's Go collection. You could pair a lot of the stickers and stuff and make like a Let's Go or adventure card. And I didn't color my bus as, a typical yellow school bus. So I think you could color it lots of ways. And there's lots of inspiration on Pinterest for different things that people have done with this bus. And that's the die set. So Little Agenda Bus and the dies. And then this is the Hit the Road set. And so you get the long roadway, you get the curved one or the straight one. And then because we're using the straight one today, we're going to use this. So you've got the long piece, the slider opening that you put in. And if you wanted a shorter slider opening, let's just take these right out of here. You can use this little set. So these sets, again, you don't have to just use specifically with the bus. You can use it with any stamped images that you want to move, any like stickers, anything that you wanted to kind of move along. A little guy, if you wanted him stamped, little stamped critter or something would look really cute. So the roadway, we're going to use the straight one, but there's also the curved one. So if you were to use the curved one, then you would put it on your background, and then you would take the curved die cut and just put it where you wanted it to go. So it's really quite simple. Hello, Francine. I also thought you can cut these any size you want. So if you wanted an A2 size card, you can cut it, to go horizontal or vertical. You could have it on a slim line so that you had several roadways, and then you can still have your little, this would be cute just on a slim line, have like 3 of them and have 3 little buses or even little characters crossing the road would be really cute. And then, you can use this for any of your little elements that you want to make slider projects for. And as well, you can just use the road to have a road if you wanted to make a card that didn't move. So there's so many different, I know, like My Favorite Things had a car, and Lawn Fawn, I'm sure, has something that would go on a road as well. Lots of kind of things that you can mix and match with those. Hello, Julie. So this is how we're going to do it. I grabbed a nickel. So I'm going to have to like grab a stash of nickels so I have them. And I'm going to show you just how to put this together. And it's really pretty easy. And we'll color our little bus. I colored it in an ombre blue, which I thought was cute. And then I have been going through and cleaning out my craft stash. I have wanted to do it for a long time. I am going through every drawer, like everything. And if it's something that I know that I'm not going to use, or if it's a die cut that I had and you know, I know that I probably won't look in that drawer. I'll probably die cut something else. I'm giving it away to my daughter's school. The librarian said she can use them there. So I'm giving them to her and she can go through them all. And it's really been nice to go through. So anyway, the point of that was I found these already cut out in this drawer and I thought, oh, that would be great. And they're all ready. So this is a Studio Cadia slimline, one of the slimline dies, and I know we used to have it. I don't know if we still have it in the shop. As for shopping, Sandy is on holidays right now, so she's just taking some time, and she's going to ship out any orders on the 18th. So you can still place your order if you're shopping, and then she'll ship everything out on the 18th when she's back to business. All right, so we have our slimline die. We've got a panel here. I cut my road down to fit. Another thing I think that you can do is if you're making a little scene, you could go in like with a cloud stencil. That would be cute. I actually went and I grabbed the rainbow that we did 2 weeks ago. So this is the Honey Bee Stamps Rainbow Builder card base, and it has the clouds and it has the sunshine, and I thought those would be great to put on the top of this. And I just grabbed some pattern paper, so we're going to put those on the top. And the only thing you kind of need to figure out is what you want popped up and what's going to move, but it's really easy to figure that out. So first of all, we're going to go ahead and glue our roadway down because I know it's cut to the size that I want. And I did put it this way. I guess you could put it either way. So if you had it so that, because it looks a little bit wider on this side and a little bit shorter there, I don't think it really matters. And what's going to happen is that your slider is just going right on top. So I'm just kind of positioning this so I know. So this is how our bus is going to go. So I know that the bus, I want the little slider here. I don't want it here because our windows are see-through. So I want it here, and I kind of like it with the top part a little bit wider because then it looks like he's staying in his lane, which is always a good idea, right? My daughter is 15, and so she's now looking at getting her license, studying for that this summer, which is exciting. So we're just going to glue this down right on to this slimline card, and I'm just using the little dots that are on the backing from the die. I'm just using those to kind of guide it. So that's going to be right on there, and then I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape just to hold it steady. So what have you guys been up to? Are you enjoying the heat? Okay, and I've also decided that I wanted my sunshine here, so my bus is going to stop there and go to there. So that means that I can just place it about right there. We have been out lots this week outside, but staying cool in the shade. And then I'm just going to run this through my die cut machine. So Calgary has, I don't know if they've changed it. I think maybe it's a new thing where you have to book the city pools so you can go online and you can book an hour and a half spot. It's only $5 per person for the pool. So we went swimming on Sunday and it wasn't busy. And so there we go. There's the base for our card already. And the kids had fun and we went for an hour and a half and that was enough time for me. I'm sure the kids would have stayed there all day, but alrighty, now let's put this on. We're going to color our bus in a minute. So this is just some paper from my stash. I think maybe it was an American Crafts, maybe like a Paige Evans, an older line. Does it look familiar to you guys? I think too, papers, I'm going through all my paper, and if it's paper I need to get rid of, I'm getting rid of it. And so sometimes just even, if you like the paper, but you're probably not going to use it for a scrapbook page, I've been cutting it up into either 6x6 or cutting out some slimline backings and just having these ready. All right, so we are going to end up putting some foam tape on that, but we won't do that quite yet. And let's bring out the little things that we have to color. So we've got, see who we want on our bus. And I also thought, because I die cut this already, normally if I was just crafting at home, I would just color it and then die cut it out, but I wanted to have it die cut out. So I grabbed this waffle flower mat and I thought it's I think it'll hold it a little bit steady so that I can color, which is nice. So we've got, I think the llama is going to drive because he looks like he's the responsible one. And we've got a couple other guys, so this one could be turned around, which I think is fine, but I think, you know what, we'll go like this and they'll all be facing the same way, even though this guy is kind of turned around like he's talking. And these guys are colored. We'll do our little, I think this guy's a cat. So you've got a dog, bunny, I think that's a hamster, monkey, llama, and then we've got, I think those are both bunnies, and a chick. And if you have some of the other Mama Elephant sets done by this artist, then you'll recognize the little characters. They kind of look the same. So this little guy could be gray. So we will grab, I'm going to bring my markers a little bit closer. And we don't need a whole lot of colors for these. So let's go for the grays. If I'm doing little animals, I usually like to use the warm gray. And we'll go with W5. And really, these guys are so small, you don't need to do a lot of shading. I'll put a little bit of shading on here. It's not moving around too much, so that's good. And then the W3. So since I'm on a cleaning kick, I've been trying to get my youngest daughter to actually go and clean up some of her toys and get rid of some, which is difficult when you're 10 and you like to keep everything. But she's doing pretty good. Okay, so then for the bus, we've got the B04, and I'm doing this in more of an ombre effect. And we know a family who just moved here, and from the Philippines, so they don't have a lot of stuff for their kids. Their kids moved here, and then the family just moved kind of with what they had, like, you know, a couple suitcases, what they absolutely needed. So that's kind of been an incentive for her to go through and get rid of some toys and books and stuff to pass along to them, which I think is nice. If she can, you know, part with some stuff and know that she's helping a family out. And I did just refill my markers. So what I'm going to do is just grab this, just make sure that they're not too juicy. So I'm going over the darkest part with my lighter marker, and I'm just kind of blending that out. I might have to go back a little bit. And then bringing this lighter color down. There's not a whole lot of difference with that B04 and 02, but you can tell that it is a bit lighter, and you'll be able to see the difference once it's done. And then we'll go to our lightest. I found that I hadn't used my markers for a little while, and when I went to use them, some of them were dry, so I definitely needed to refill. And if you do use COPICs and you find or you're looking for refills, you can just ask Sandy at scrapshotz.com, and if she can get them, she can order them in for you. Because I find that it's really nice to have the refills. All right, so you can kind of see that variation in color. And if we want to add just a little bit darker to the very top, we can go back with our darkest marker, and because you can layer color for Copics, and just add just a little bit of shading. All right, and then we're going to do the little tires. So we've got N6. We can zoom in a little bit here too. I have all my windows closed, but I have my door open just so I can get some air in here, but hopefully nobody starts mowing their lawn. Okay, so this is your N6. And then the N4, and I'm just testing them off to the side because, like I said, I did fill them, and some of them, I was using them the other day, and I think they were a little full, and so they were blobbing out a little bit. And we don't want that to happen because we don't want to have to color our image all over again. And you could even go to a little bit lighter color if you wanted, but I think we're okay with this one. Is anybody a Copic user? Okay, we will add a little bit of this neutral. I haven't tried the cool grays, but I do really like the neutrals. And then we'll go in with the N2. So I'm just blending out that darker part. I've been thinking I really should be making a few Christmas in July cards. Even though I'm not really ready to get into full-on Christmas, I do like to do a little bit of Christmas in July. I think it's fun. And this, I'm going to keep with this N2 and just do this middle part. So we have a challenge that's over in the Scrap Shotz paper crafting group for the summer, and it's anything goes. So if you make something, share it with us, add it to the album that's in that group for that challenge, and it runs for 2 months, and then at the end of the summer we'll be picking a winner of a $25 gift card for the Scrap Shotz store. And we've got Y02. This is a little bit lighter than the one I used. I used Y17 and Y15 for these, but I'm just going a little bit lighter. And I'm just going to add just a tiny bit. Usually I add my darker color first, but I did not there. Actually, I'll just use that to do these little, I don't know if those are lights or if there's something else, but we're going to say they're lights. And then just add this. I think that's a tail light. That's what I'm going with. Alrighty, so now we need, oh, and our little stop sign. I guess it's not really a stop sign, it's more of a bus sign. It's a bus stop, I think. That would make more sense if it was a bus stop. Okay, so that's our yellow. We'll go back to our gray colors again. And this is just to add a little bit of shading. But you can pair these with any of your little animals if you have little animal stamps. I think the Lawn Fawn, the tiny people, tiny friends, wouldn't they be super cute? I'm gonna have to make a card. I just thought of that now. The little tiny friends sitting in the bus. This would also be a good one to have, a good set for teacher cards, for the fall too, to have, like, you know, we usually send a card in the first week just to let the teacher know we're thinking of them, and this would be cute to send in as a school bus. But again, you can do any kind of theme just by using that. You know, you can have happy birthday from all of us, party bus thing, there's the school bus, there's way to go, which is a nice congratulatory sentiment. Congrats. You could do a die cut congrats sentiment on the front. All right. So then I did bring in a little bit of that red just because we have the red on the tail light. So I'll just bring that in for the bus, but really you could do this any color, and I kind of made it that ombre effect again. And I went out of the lines just a little bit, but I will show you a trick for that. I've been crafting still quite a bit, even though it's summer. You guys find that you craft in the summer less or the same? So we've got the gel pen, white gel pen. And I'm just going to make sure that it's flowing nicely. There we go. So we can just use this to fix any of our little mistakes. I guess I did put a little bit of gray in there, so I don't have to really worry about that too much. I could go over it with the gray. I do find like if I take my kids to the pool or the park, then I just have a little bag that I pack with either some markers or colored pencils, something that's easy to bring, and I just color some images up usually when I'm at the park, or cut them out, or if I'm cutting them out by hand. And then that gives me, hello Helen, hello Barb. That gives me some stuff to do, and then I can come home and I've got my images all cut and I can go ahead and make my cards. So we'll just add a few little white gel pen details. Some little dots. You can do some little star type details. And then if there's anywhere you saw where you went out of the lines, you can just fix that. And no one will ever know. But try not to go over your black lines. Otherwise you'll have to go back and fix them with a pen. All right, let's do the little tires. Just anywhere where you feel like you could add a few little dots. See, we can even add like a little shiny kind of sparkly area, like the light's hitting it and there's sparkles. A few dots just kind of, it adds a little bit that you don't even notice until it's completely done. I didn't put these little sparkly things on the top bus, but I kind of like them. Okay, so this looks nice and sparkly. And these guys, he needs a little bit on his cheeks, I think. I usually use that R20. And then sometimes I think I need just to make sure my gel pen is flowing nicely, and then it just dots really nice. Okay, so he's got his little cheeks. I think that's good for that. I don't think we're missing anything. Okay, and then to add these little guys, so you can stamp them in the window, but then you would have to fussy cut the bus out because it does cut out the windows, and it's kind of fun with the windows cut out there. And then you just add a little bit of glue to the bottom of them and they just sit there. So the liquid glue is kind of nice for just having that really thin line of glue. And you can even just, and it dries clear. So if you do get it in any spots that you don't want, it's just going to dry pretty clear. Usually I'll just stick it on and then you have a minute to move it around. There, he's not going anywhere because he's stuck on there. Just going to wipe that glue off my fingers. Okay, this guy's going to be driving our bus. So we'll put him on here. Look, he does look pretty responsible, hey? He's just, you know, really focused on the road. And then our little monkey. He's super cute. I think this would look so cute with like that happy birthday or thank you die cut. These little guys just fit in around the die cut sentiment, would be so cute. Okay, so we've got this. Now we're going to put our slider card together. Okay, so you're going to need a coin, and you're going to need some foam tape. So we're going to cut a little strip of foam tape because basically we need our foam tape to fit inside this, and this is what it's going to stick on. Hello, Rhea. So what you can do is just place your coin. I don't know if there's, maybe is flatter. There's also, I know MFT has like discs that you can use, but this was actually pretty easy. And I'm sure you could cut something out of like a plastic type thing as well, or you could get some kind of plastic discs. Okay, so this is going to be our coin that's going to move, and our bus is going to fit right on there. Hello, Tamara, how are you? Making a slider card. We've got this Mama Elephant slider die cut with the little road. We've colored up our little bus. So I'm just holding this steady, and you only want to stick it on your bus. So of course you don't want it down here because it's going to show through, and you just want to make sure. I'm just going to lean over just to make sure we have it in the middle of these guys. Now I think you could probably do two, and then I'm just pressing that down. If I was doing the larger bus, I think I would put two on. So I would just have two coins with the foam tape and then place the bus on, because I think like this, it's pretty straight, but you know, like it's going a little bit. I think if you had the big one and just had one, it would be tipping. And I forgot to stamp our party bus on there, so we won't be stamping that right now, but we could stamp it on a different piece of paper and just glue it on. All right, so we've got our clouds. Now we can add this to the backing. So now what you want to do, see, there's your coin. So really it's a really simple idea. It is fun. I think I would totally make more of these. I don't have a lot of interactive dies, and I think what stops me from making a lot of interactive cards is if I have to, I feel like I have to think about it too hard. But this is actually really easy. All right, so I'm just putting my foam tape around. The only thing that you need to be careful of is that you're not putting your foam tape so that it can't move. So as long as you're giving your coin lots of space to move around. Because you want it to freely move back and forth. And I just put one width of foam tape, but if you wanted it higher, you could put two, but I found one, it seemed to be fine. Like the coin is just low enough that you still have lots of room for it to easily move back and forth. And then I could put one more here. It's not really going to touch it. I'm not going to put it the whole way. I'm just putting it more as like a stabilizer for the back. So I can just double check. That's still moving around nicely. How are you guys keeping cool, Tamara? Any more packing that you've done? Okay, so I've got the background off, or the backing off for that tape. And then I'm just going to stick this on, try and get it even. Okay, you can still test this. It's going to move just fine. Isn't that cute? Okay, we've got our clouds. So I used birthday messages that I had in my stash, which is one of a sentiment set for Mama Elephant. And if there's any Mama Elephant or even Lawn Fawn that you're looking for that are older sets, when Sandy orders in new product, she is able to order those in. So if there's ever any you have your eye on, feel free to email her and just say, you know, can you put this in your next order? Okay, so we've got our sunshine and these clouds. The air conditioning, yeah. Everything is packing and touching up the house. No offers yet. Oh, I bet it's stressful. You are going to sell it. The house looks amazing. And I think, yeah, you just have to try not to be too stressed, right? It's hard though. All right, our party bus, because I forgot to put it on there, we could stamp it on, let me see. We could just stamp it on here and we could glue that little piece on, or we could leave it off for now. Let me see here. We'll try it. We'll add a little bit. Maybe we could add some yellow or green. Okay. We're going to add a little bit of green and we'll see if this works. If it doesn't matter. And I did see that Sandy had the Obsidian Pigment ink back in the shop, which is my favorite just stamping ink. And I put a little bit too much pressure on it there, so I'm gonna just redo that. It's really nice and juicy. You don't have to press hard, and it gives you a really good impression the first one. I pressed a little bit too hard, but we're just gonna leave that. Okay, and then we're going to put From All of Us. So the little sentiments, like we are here for you, that could be a nice one to send for a different occasion. And then we're going to put this right on our cloud. So I'm going to just stamp it and hope that I can get it. Perfect. All right. I feel like I've been going through each room trying to organize things and I'm really trying to be thorough. So I'm going through, we went through the laundry room, Erica helped me, and we just organized everything. If we didn't need it, it went. So you can stick things behind the bus as long as you're sticking them down. If you put this up with some foam dots, then of course it's going to block your bus. And so you want everything to be glued flat down. So I'm just kind of seeing how I want it here. I'm going to put that one up here. And you have a few minutes. You do have a few minutes to move it around when you use the liquid glue. So let's see if this works. And I think it's always a little fun to have them, you know, sticking off the edge a little bit. Okay. So these little clouds, I love the cloud die from that rainbow card builder. And I actually have some white felt downstairs and I want to die cut out some clouds. So this little sun is going to go here, and it's okay if it impedes this a bit because this is going to stop when it comes here. And I'm going to cut my little cloud in half. Let's see where I want it. If I put it like this, well, maybe I don't even need to cut it in half. I cut this one in half. Let's see. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I don't think I didn't absolutely have to cut that, but I'm going to. Okay. This one is going to be tucked down here a little bit. You see, like, so you can tell it just gives the appearance that there's a few different clouds behind here. Okay, and then we're going to put our glue. I'm going to just put a little bit of glue on these little sun rays so they're not poking up all over the place. I think this one is cute. It's a cute card, whether you're an adult or a kid. Everybody likes to make stuff like this go. Guys would love this, right? Okay, we've got our sunshine. And then we're going to pop up our little bus stop. Hello, George. Okay, let's put the tape on. Just pop this up a little bit. I can totally see myself using both the stamp and die set for other occasions, or mix and matching them. I think they're a good mix and match set. Let's put the tape on. And those characters from the little agenda, they would totally be sweet. Like you could have them waiting at the bus stop. That would be really cute. All right, I think we have it done. Am I missing? Oh, our party bus thing. I don't know, we're gonna see. We're gonna see how this looks. All So could even trim it just a tiny bit more. Because you do want to know that it's the party bus, right? Have you gone down to Stampede? Anybody? They're not usually stampeders, stampede people. I think just with little kids, it's been hard to kind of manage it. Yeah, that looks good. We'll just glue that on. You could also have it at the top as well, but yeah, like the lineups and the hot weather and the trying to get down there, it just seems like it's not as much of an appeal as getting out of the house. All right, I think that we have it done. If you had some glitter drops, you could add like some little glitter to that light up there or do some enamel dots. But I think we are good. Isn't this cute? Seriously. So that's our little card, and yeah, our little happy birthday card. So if you're trying anything new or have some crafts that you want to share, your projects, be sure to upload them to the Scrap Shotz paper crafting group and entering them into that album for our summer challenge, which is anything goes. You can also join the Scrap Shotz Calgary Scrapaganza group, and we're going to have all our details coming really soon about the Scrapaganza, which is coming in the fall. So registration is going to be July 27th, and we'll be getting more details up on that. It's a 2-day crop and shop event, which will be really fun in the fall. So September, I don't have the dates in front of me. I think it's the 23rd, 24th, but it's definitely in the group. As well, our newsletter, you can sign up on the Scrap Shotz blog, and we are letting people know, whatever's going on during the week, new stuff in the shop. So be sure to sign up for the newsletter, and then you'll find that in your email on Mondays. We've had 3 weeks of Meet the Team. So we've had Rosie, myself, and Virginia was this week. And you can also go back through the Facebook feed, and those have been linked up. And so you can still see the newsletter if you want to look back on that. But yeah, that's what's going on for us. And I hope you guys have a fun summer. Enjoy the heat, but don't get too hot. Enjoy the weather, and I will be back next week. To do some crafting. So thanks, guys, for hanging out with me, and I will talk to you later. Thanks, Debbie. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.